Hey, everybody, welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping, where we review one of the top racing cars from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us. Week 49 of the racing season, and right back to New York. Aqueduct Racetrack in Ozone Park. Who are we kidding? It's Queens, New York. It's Cigar Mile Day. The pick four starts in race number 7. It ends in race 10. 3 stakes in the pick four on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. One of them is a lot closer than he usually is when we do our racing week. Folks, our first handicapper is from just down the road in Staten Island, New York. Ray, exactly how long is it going to take you to get to the Big A if you left right now and go to it on a Saturday afternoon?
It would take me about half an hour.
About a half an hour? Not too
And
bad.
I was there Wednesday, so I got a little preview of the track, and I had a good day. Hit a couple pick threes. A little chalky, but it is what it is.
Yeah, nice, right? Worst day
So
at
a winning day.
worst day at the track is better than your best day at work. That's any of our bosses
That's
are
right.
watching us. Okay, folks, not to keep you in suspense, our West Coast handicapper, he is from Temecula, California. Joe English, exactly how long did it take you to get to Las Vegas tonight?
Take me about 4 hours, sir.
Nice. Joe is in the Mecca. All right, last week was Aqueduct Racetrack in New York, and unfortunately, we did not hit our pick four last Saturday. We did come back on closing day at Del Mar last Saturday, and so we ended our streak of missed pick fours. Time for a brief weather update from South Ozone Park in Queens, New York. Forecast for Saturday calls for partly cloudy. The high is 49 degrees. Winds are light and variable, and there is a 10% chance of rain. A total of 10 races, 4 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick four, beginning in race 7 and concluding in race number 10. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starters ready to pop the gate. It's pick four post time.
Let's go. I got some gambling to do downstairs. Let's go.
They're calling Joe's name. All right, race number 7, approximate post time is 2:39 p.m. Eastern time. It is 6 furlongs on the turf. Maiden special weight affair. Purse is $55,000 on the outer turf. Maiden filly 2-year-olds foaled in New York State and approved by the New York State Bred Registry, just like Ray and Joe are. 12 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 12. It's Stone Factor, trained by Michael Dilger and ridden by John Velasquez. 3-1 on the Aqueduct morning line. You guys, Cigar was named, I don't know if everybody knows this, but Cigar was named after a navigational intersection for airplanes, not for the tobacco product. Joe, navigate us out of the opening leg of the pick four.
Yeah, Rich, I mean, I know we discussed this when the card was drawn, and I was really aggravated that they didn't put the other stakes race to go for one in as the first leg of the pick four. Instead, they put this New York bred filly race on the outer turf, and I'm still trying to get used to saying outer turf for Aqueduct. But this race is obviously something, if you like anybody in the later races and you can single in a spot or two, this would be the perfect spot for me to advise to say, yeah, let's go all here, because the horses who've run have not really been all that impressive. Some of them showed a little bit of a glimpse of ability. But if a first-time starter were to win this race, I don't really think any of us would be surprised. I really couldn't say I went with a top pick necessarily. And honestly, like I said, this race is so wide open, I couldn't even come up with an A pick. I like Silverado's Mist, probably most because, well, for 2 reasons. One, Billy Mott goes from Jose Lescano, who is one of his Barnes riders, to Jose Ortiz, and obviously I don't need to say any more about that. Jose Ortiz is a really competent rider, and he's done very well for himself in New York. But the other reason is I go back to the horse's debut. March Express ended up running in one of the undercard races at Del Mar on one of the Breeders' Cup days. I want to say it was Friday, but I can't remember for sure. March Express finished 5th in that race. The race won by declaration of peace. She got beat. She was 5th, beaten only 2 lengths that day. And that was against the boys. So I think this horse is obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously. My opinion is that this horse is better sprinting, then going long. She obviously showed speed the last 2 times out going long and then faded. I think this is basically more what this horse wants to do. And it's 6 furlongs. It's not 5.5. It's not 5. I don't know that the horse necessarily needs to be on the lead, because in that sprint race, the horse was 4th at the first call. So maybe 6 furlongs is probably a good spot. Maybe she moved too early that day. I did not have a chance to see the race, but I'm thinking Silverado Miss probably wants to sprint more than root. So I think that she's a must use in this spot. But I went with a couple of first time starters as my other picks in this race. The 10 Summer Squeeze, Saratoga Summer. I went back and looked at her pedigree. Saratoga Summer, the dam, actually only raced once in her life, and she finished, I believe it was 3rd, beating a neck in a Saratoga 5.5 furlong sprint on the turf, and she earned a buyer speed figure of 76 that day. So I think the horse has a chance to run well in the debut. The dam is also the dam of a horse named Somersault, who's by Rothcard 10, who was 6 for 26 on the turf, winning 429K. Most of those races were at a mile or over. But in this spot, given that we don't know much about a lot of the horses, obviously the first timers, and we know a lot about the horses that have run, I'm going to take a chance with Summer Squeeze at 8-1. Maybe she'll be good enough to win first out, like her mom did. Well, she didn't win, but she ran a really representative race. And again, if she runs a 76 buyer, she might win this race might by open lengths. The other horse I like is the 2 Lady Rosina. She's 12-1 on the morning line, and this is more just a trainer play. You see, Jeremiah Engelhardt has a high win percentage in 2017, and over the last 30 days, I know a lot of his wins have come at Finger Lakes, but over the last 30 days on the turf, he's still 5 for 21 with an ROI of 4.50. This Lady Rosina gets first Lasix, and Luis Saez and Engelhardt are a pretty decent combination. 21% according to DRF over the last over 2016 and 2017. So I'm going to take the hot trainer for Lady Rosina, and again, I'm getting 12-1. I'm not going to take any of the favorites. None of the first time starters are the favorites. But again, Silverado's Mist is probably my top choice of the horses that have run. But I will also take the 2 Lady Rosina and the 10 Summer Squeeze as first-time starters who I think might be able to get the job done at a decent price. So my picks 2, 5, and 10 in the opener at Aqueduct on Saturday. Ray.
Yeah, this is a real doozy of a race. But
putting it mildly.
Somebody's going to win.
I hope so.
I did fall on the 5. Silverado Mist. Cuts back to 6 furlongs after 2 races. So you got a little stamina in him, in her, and a little layoff. Jose Ortiz is hot. Aqueduct is running really well. You get some good speed. Probably be a bit forwardly placed. So you're gonna get a good trip from the inside, post 5. Nice stalking trip there. Billy Mott knows what he's doing. He's trying to get this horse out. Probably ship him down to Florida after this, and it's nice warm weather. I do like 12 Stone Factor. This horse got some speed also. The turf did play a little bit more towards speed when I was there, and this week. So you got Johnny V. He's staying around for a little bit. Probably leave after this weekend. But he's 34% at we call the pre-winter meet, if you want to call it. Michael Doja doesn't run too many horses here, but he runs them. They well meant. So this horse is got some speed and 6 furlongs. I also want to mention number 4, Richard's Blue Moon, first time starter, Bodemeister. Got some decent workouts. Martin Garcia's here from the West Coast. little cold streak. But what I noticed on Wednesday was that he had a couple of horses for the 10 hole, and he was very aggressive with them. And he made a race out of them. He came in third twice. So he might be, learning the configuration of the track. And at 12 to 1, I'd give him a shot too. So those would be my picks: 5, 12, and 4. Rich, up to you. New York Breds.
Ray, I'm right with you. I'm all right. I guess I'm right on your coattails here. And the only thing I can add to you is that on on Cigar Mile Day, they were damn well sure I was going to be using a Bill Mott horse. So my check mark ended up on Silverado Mist as well, a speed type in these kind of races, absent other information. And I didn't see a whole lot of first time starters that I thought were jumping off the page at me. I'm looking for horses that can usually just get to the front. This horse did hit, even though it's cutting back to a sprint today in that mile and 16th. That's a very kind of a hellacious pace figure there in the early pace. So that bodes well for being a sprinter here. And my backup pick is Ray's backup pick. I'm on the 12 Stone Factor. Again, look at those pace numbers for the particular race that horse was in. So I just went too deep. I went 5:12. I've got Ray is 5:12.4, and I've got Joe is 5:10.2. I will go ahead and come on back to us, and we're going to move along to race number 8. Hello, everybody. Okay, race number 8. We are going 6 furlongs on the turf. It is the Aqueduct Turf Sprint Championship Stakes. Purse is $125,000. Oh, Joe, it's your favorite type, right? The outer turf for 3-year-olds and upward. 8 starters, and your borderline favorite starts from post.
I think we lost him.
2 for 2 in the pick 4. Who do you like in the sprint?
Hello, Rich.
Hello?
Rich?
Mr.
Yeah.
Demoiselle.
Hello. Yeah, this is the Demoiselle, Rich. It's not.
Oh,
the
is it? I'm
Aqueduct
sorry.
Sprint.
I
Yeah,
apologize.
the Aqueduct Sprint Championship is not part of the sequence.
I apologize. Hang on one second, guys.
Sure, no problem. Kind of lost you there. You kind of cut out for a second.
Yeah, cut out.
And I do not know how I missed that. Hold on. It is. So, Ray, I apologize. You are up on the Demoiselle.
Yeah, okay. It's grade 2, and it's a grade 2 field. You got some horses here who have been in slight grade 2 company. I think going 2 turns at Aqueduct, you want to be more in position on the inside. Wide trips, not going to do it. And I'm going with number 1, horse of the rail. Ran well and attempted, grade 3, won by 4 and 3/4, drawn away. Daisy, we got Kendrick Carmouche, John Service, broke his maiden by 8. So this horse looks like he gets some talent. Won the slop, won the fast track, so she could run on basically anything. And drawing the rail would really help, but she have to get a good trip, a good break for the start, and gain position. 5-2. A decent price. She'll be better off that last race, definitely. I do like number 5 in the Union. This horse just broke his maiden by 7 at a mile at Belmont. Another race, forward place, and it's drew away. A nice figure for this race, very compatible. So should move forward. There's Joe's hot trainer there, Jeremiah Engelhardt. And he picks up Jose Ortiz. And looks like Ortiz can take all these horses in the Aqueduct, and just, the brothers, they call them, the Ortiz brothers, they're doing very well there. This horse gets a little light, drop in weight, 115. And, the race before the Musquillo, they tried to put on a turf, a grade 3, and she bumped at the start, and she was 60-1. So this is a chance they took. She was a maiden. They put her in a stake race, and she got bumped and it's out of the race. And she just ran evenly the whole way around. So more like a workout for that. So I put her back on the dirt, and she really exposed. So I think she'll definitely improve for this. Get the 9 furlongs out of an AP Indian mare. So that's you're talking good distance there. I do like number 7, Lina Noor. This horse is I mean a little bit of closer, but I mean coming from 5-6 lengths out ain't too bad. Manny Franco, he's been having a good meet. This horse did race the stake race in Keelan on turf, and then in the dirt race in Laurel, ran very well in the optional claiming race. So I guess Delacour come up here, try the distance again, mile and 8 with this horse. And looks like this horse will like the dirt being our midnight loop. So those would be my 3 horses there. The 157. They're just it's just 8-horse field, so it'd be a comparable race. So I go 157. Joe, what do you numbers are?
We're on opposite sides of the same page, I think.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, no, absolutely. It's what makes this makes our game a great game. It's funny you mentioned one undefeated John Service horse, Daisy. I'm going to mention the other as my top pick, More Power. Picks up Irad Ortiz, and the horse ran what looks like a tremendous figure in the non-winners of one allowance race at Parks. The horse looks to me like this horse is getting better. Obviously, John Service is not afraid to run the non-winners of one winner, as well as running Daisy, who's won a grade 3 already. So I like the fact that More Power even improved so much off of that layoff from July to October, and now about another 6 weeks later is getting Irad Ortiz, and the horse should be sitting a nice trip. If the horse's lines are to be believed, if she can hold that speed and rate comfortably in 4th, I think she'll set a nice trip going a mile and an 1/8. And Violence 2-year-olds so far this year, they were 10 for 29 at Roots. So the horse is bred to go long. Again, gets Irad. She has the best buyer speed figure coming out of that last race. And again, she handled winners first time out after having some time away. So I think she's got a chance to improve even more. And I think she's got a shot to upset the other undefeated Service runner. But the other horse I'm surprised that, at least so far, nobody's mentioned. It might be the class horse of the race, and that's the 3, Wonder Gadot, who's my second choice. She won the Mazarine. She finished 3rd in the grade 1 the Talmont Turf. And I got a chance to watch the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly race again. And unfortunately, Wonder Gadot I don't want to say she was making a winning move, but she was at least closer than it looks like she was on the form. She was 3.5 lengths back at the stretch call, and unfortunately, she finished 5 3/4 lengths back because separation of powers tired into her, and she really had no chance to run through the stretch. So I think she would have finished better. I mean, I'm thinking maybe she doesn't gain ground and she finishes 3.5 lengths back, and maybe she finishes 4th instead of 5th, and that running line may look a little bit better. Johnny V gets aboard, and speaking of guys who can move a horse up, especially over the Aqueduct Oval, and that was her first time on dirt. So now she's got a little bit more experience. Medaglia d'Oro can handle dirt. Obviously, that's not really an issue. The horse has been training at least regularly since the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly, and instead of putting her on the sidelines, they decided to give her one more run. So I'm thinking she's kind of doing well. And so I only went 2 deep, but I cannot argue with somebody who decided to go 4 or 5 deep in this spot. This one's a really competitive race. And with 2-year-old fillies, they can improve and they can change drastically overnight. So if you like somebody who's 10 or 12 to 1, I would never discourage anybody from taking that stance. But in this case, I'm going to probably go deeper in the next. I'm definitely going to go deeper in the next leg. So I'm trying to be a little shorter here. So I just went with the 6 Morer Power and the 3 Wonder Gadot in the Demoiselle at Aqueduct. And now I see Rich has a horse as his top pick that neither Ray or I have mentioned. So Rich, take it away.
Yeah, and every once in a while, I do start my handicapping here on the back page. That's actually what I did here just to show what happens. Although I know there's not a lot of sampling here, I do know that the East Coast tracks do not play kindly necessarily to speed necessarily going the 9 furlongs. So I was thinking that possibly this would go to a closer. It looked like there could be a lot of speed or a lot of at least E or EP types in this race, and that's exactly what I saw. And so sometimes when I'm looking for that, I was just playing for the 1S type that's in here. And that happens to be held accountable. It's the number 4 horse. Philip Serpa is a good trainer. You've got Luis Saez. He's actually one of my favorite jockeys out there. And the horse won at first asking, albeit it was on the turf, but it was at Saratoga in a 5.5 turf race. So, the race was live. Came right back off of that in a little stakes race at Belmont, restricted stakes for female, for the girls. Won that one, and then came right back off that again at Belmont, stepping up to a mile in the Maid of the Mist Stakes, and had a decent second in an 8-horse field. Again, Serpa, Saez, and enough to like there at 8-1 with the way the track profile is playing to it. I think this is a chance for a closer to go ahead and take this one. So I went with the 4 on top. I did like Wonder Godot as my backup pick, and I did like Daisy as well. So I actually split John Service horses as my backup choice there. So I went 4-3-1. I believe Joe went 6-3, and Ray went 1-5-7. Let's see if I can come on back to you guys. All
Rich,
right.
Rich, I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second. You got me as 6-3, correct?
Yeah, I have you at 6-3.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thanks.
All right, race number 9, and this is a 1.125 miles. This is the Remsen Stakes. A grade 2, the purse is $250,000 for 2-year-olds only. 10 starters, and your morning line favorite at 3-1 is in post number 3. It's Avery Island, trained by Kieran McLaughlin and ridden by Joe Bravo. This race was run at Jamaica Racetrack from its inception in 1904 until 1959. It was run in 2 divisions in 1943 until 1954. It was known as the Remsen Handicap. It is one of the last graded stakes races for 2-year-olds in the country. Joe, the next time we see these, they'll be 3-year-olds, and quite possibly a couple of them at least could be on the Derby Trail. Who do you like in the Remsen?
Yeah, it's funny, Rich. I know the Remsen has gotten a bad reputation because it seems as if horses that have come out of this race just haven't really done very well in the Derby Trail, despite the fact that it's 1 1/8 miles, and it's as long as you're going to get to run, unless you go to Dubai before the Derby. Again, this race to me was extremely wide open, and Ray and I will be able to appreciate my top pick's name. Just the name alone, Ray should bring back some memories just from probably last Tuesday night. Tap, Rap, Strike is the number 10 horse. As bowlers, we've used all of those words probably way too many times. I think the horse ran the horse. I got a chance to watch the maiden breaker at Parks. The horse was down inside, got dirt kicked in his face, and he probably didn't like it at the beginning, but he adjusted nicely, and he came on to win. He earned a decent enough figure. And to win going 2 turns first time out always impresses me. It's really not easy to do. So I think this horse can do it again. I like the fact that Irad gets aboard for, again, John Service, who, if things go well, could sweep the 2-year-old stakes today. Horse has had solid drills since working that day. I don't necessarily like the 10-hole, but I don't know that there's so much speed that this horse can't work out a trip. I think the horse might be able to break well and get into a nice spot behind a couple of the early leaders. So I'm going to take the 10 as my top pick, Tap, Rap, Strike, but I went 5 deep. I also like somebody coming out of the Breeders' Cup, the 5 Catholic Boy, who ran a decent race, decent 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. He's much more experienced than some of these. Bernardini mare. So obviously, I don't think dirt is going to be a problem. Again, he's experienced. And the barn, Jonathan Thomas, You see that 31% for the year. I'd take that pretty much every day. That's pretty solid. That's Bob Baffert, Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher country. I get that he's only run 61 horses, but 61 is pretty much a good sample size. And Catholic Boy's 5-1. He may be a little overlooked, and he might be a little even classier than some of these because, again, he won a Grade 3. Again, it was on the turf, but I think that the dirt shouldn't really be an issue for this horse. The mile and an eighth might be more of an issue than the dirt itself. And what's funny is I like I said, I went 5 deep, and there are 2 horses coming out of the same race. And the amazing part is that they're both maidens. The 2 Triple Dog Dare is 6-1 on the morning line, and the 7 Alcatam is 7-2 on the morning line. And they came out of the same mating race, and they're both still maidens, but they have very competitive speed figures for this spot. And again, the fact that I like Alcatam, the fact that he ran really well, but he was really kind of stayed at the back, made 1 run, looped around horses, didn't really get much adversity. Like I said, he really just made 1 run. I kind of want to see a little bit more. And Triple Dog Dare kind of did the same thing, but Triple Dog Dare is 6-1, whereas Alcatam 7-2. Again, both maidens trying a stakes race, not just winners, trying a stakes race. So I'm going to take the 6-1 odds over the 7-2 odds, but again, they'd both be on my ticket. And because you can't really throw out the class horse, Avery Island won the Nashville last time out, 3-1 on the morning line. You have to use that horse, but I can't single. The horse is obviously talented, but this race is very competitive, speed figure wise, and it looks like it could be very competitive on the track. So I'd rather go deeper in this spot if we're still alive at this point. So I went 5 deep, 10, 5, 2, 7, 3, and now I can kick it over. Ray, you can have your Keno machine back. Who do you like in the Remsen?
Okay. I do like Catholic Boy. Got some class. The raced the Breeders' Cup. Yeah, I don't think dirt would be an issue. Been working out on the dirt, so working out okay. Manny Franco. This horse, has a Grade 3 win. And, coming off the layoff in Delmar, ran 4th. Not a bad race. I guess a good horse there. Mendelssohn. We saw that race live, so. And Untamed Domain, they ran well that day. So, coming back in 3 weeks, crossing the country, he thinks he's got something left, so give him a shot to run the dirt and get some, maybe derby points, if that's what they're thinking of. But this horse has a good shot. I do like Avery Island. This horse, usually the winner of the Nashua, they like a pattern here, the stake race of Aqueduct, and he ran very well, and they just keep going on the track. And usually they go to the inner track, but not this year. Then that's no more inner track, so they're gonna stay on the main. And it's the Remsen mile and eighth, so he's stretching out. And he was able to handle mile 16, no problem, very clear. So out of street sense, I should see that a problem. 3-1, low on the odds, but he should be include. I'll go. I mean, how can you not have a 2-year-old race not mention and leave out Todd Pletcher, Johnny Velasquez? They paid $800,000 for this horse, biblical, and this horse won his brokers made it at the distance, so the speed figure wasn't too bad, and he won about comfortable length and 3/4, off the layoff too, proving he's out of Tappet, and the longer they go, the better they'll be. So I'll give biblical a chance at 8-1. I hope he stays up there at a decent price, and they don't bet him down. So I'm gonna go 3 deep in this field. I'll go with the 5-4, the 5-3 and the 4. Right, Rich? What do you think of the Remsen?
In the Remsen, I took Joe's advice. Joe actually at the very end there kind of caught all my thunder. Although I didn't know if I was going to be able to pronounce this horse's name until I heard there was Al Khatam. for Jose Ortiz and Chad Brown. But I took the two maidens in this position, so I'm going a little bit bombs away, and then I'm going to back it up with the favorite because I'm still a chicken. But Chad Brown, Jose Ortiz, the horse is a closer. That maiden race there, had some nice pace numbers for him to run into. I did not see the race like Joe did, but it looked like it. I mean, at least on form. That this is a formful race. So I went ahead and used the Chad Brown horse because I still have a man crush on Chad Brown, and put his horse on top. I did not play the odds play that Joe used there, but I did put Triple Dog there as my second choice with Javier Castellano, Rudy Rod. Again, it looks like almost the same form as Al Khatam has. So I went 7-2 as my top two picks, and then I backed it up with Avery Island because again, I'm a little bit of a coward and didn't want to go out there on the limb with the two maidens all by myself. So I've got 7-2-3. I believe Ray's got 5-3-4, and Joe fired up the Keno machine this time. He's got 10-5-2-7-3. Let me come on back.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And a partridge.
Oh, yeah.
All right, race number 10. This is it. 1 mile. It is the Cigar Mile Handicap presented by Naira Bets. Grade 1 purse is $750,000, a handicap for 3-year-olds and upward. 10 starters, and your money line favorite starts from post number 6. Sharp Azteca, trained by Jorge Navarro and ridden by Javier Castellano, is 2-1 on the Big A morning line. Madeline Paulson was the original owner of Cigar, and according to Paulson Family Banter, she traded Cigar to husband Alan for the filly Eliza, who happened to be the 1992 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner and that year's Eclipse Award choice for American Champion 2-year-old filly. Ray, why doesn't my wife ever make me a trade like that? What do you like in a cigar?
That's a good one, I tell you. You're going to have to win a lot of races in a row. Cigar Mile, for me, I consider this a 2-horse race. We got Sharp Azteca. We've been following this horse for a couple of years now, and the mile is his premium distance. He's got speed, so we'll hold a brutal pace. And, he hangs in there. He runs well. He just, those 8 furlongs, is never a problem for him. He just gets beat by a better horse. In this field, I don't see him. I see him winning, being very competitive. You got 2-1 here, but the only thing I would knock on him would be the weight he's carrying, 125. And it's a little heavy for him. And, some horses here getting light. But, he's going to spot the field a couple pounds. And like Practical Joke's a good miler. He spotted him 5 pounds, so that could be a difference there. That's my second horse. This horse was on the Derby Trail, and 2 turns wasn't his forte. Looked like they went back to 1, and he's been running well this year in a few mile races he had. So he's my second choice, and I think it's a 2-horse race really. The Sharp Azteca and Practical Joke, so I'll leave it like that.
Well, I'm assuming you tossed it to me, right? You cut it a little bit for me.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think one of the key moves in this race is something that, if you look at Sharp Azteca's form, you'll notice it right away. Even though he's only 5 for 55, at least on my PPs for the meet. I love the fact that Jorge Navarro decided. Now, I don't know. I was just trying to look up to see where Paco Lopez is on Saturday. I don't know if he's riding in New York or if he's injured or if there's some issue that he's not aboard Sharp Azteca. But Paco has always been known as somebody who's a little bit more aggressive. I love the fact that Javier Castellano gets aboard Sharp Azteca. I think he might be not necessarily as aggressive. I think he will be able to rate him a little bit better. Again, Javier can be aggressive when he needs to, but he's not the gun all the way like Paco does. And maybe that's what cost him in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He still ran a bang-up race, and I still like races. I don't think 2 turns is what he wants to do. I think he likes a mile, but I really think he likes 1-turn miles as opposed to 2-turn miles. He ran well in the Met Mile. Unfortunately, he just happened to run into more Spirit that day, somebody he wasn't going to beat anyway. I just think Sharp Azteca has this field over a barrel. Speed figure wise, he's going to be in good position. Again, Ray mentioned the fact that he's carrying 125. He's giving weight to Practical Joke because Practical Joke's a 3-year-old. I don't know that there's really that much of a difference between the two, but I'd still rather have Sharp Azteca on the lead and involve more. Practical Joke, regardless, in a 10-horse field, is still going to have to work out a trip one way or the other. The one thing I know about Sharp Azteca is I know where he's going to be. And I don't see him being 4 or 5 wide around the first turn. There is other speed in here that might compromise him, but again, I love the fact that Castellano gets aboard. He can be a little bit, he might be able to relax him a little bit more and save a little bit more for the stretch, and that might make the difference given the closer's Practical Joke and Mind Your Biscuits, who probably will come running at the end. But for me, because I went deeper in the other early legs, and because I like Sharp Azteca so much in this spot, again, I like the jockey change. I went single with Sharp Azteca in the end. So the 6 is all alone on the ticket for me. I'd like to get to the spot with having Sharp Azteca being the one that has to carry the banner for me to get home, going 8 furlongs around 1 turn at Aqueduct. So Sharp Azteca for me, Rich.
Yeah, if you look at Sharp Azteca, you look at the form there. In the last year, the only horses that have beat this horse, a couple of really good dirt horses from out here in California. So you get More Spirit, which is a Bob Baffert horse. You got Battle of Midway, Jerry Hollendorfer horse, a couple of real stars. Neither of those 2 horses are in here today, and you got Sharp Azteca. I did not single. I've actually developed a little bit of a feeling here for Practical Joke. So I did use Practical Joke as my backup, thinking that exactly what you talked about there at the end, Joe. I have seen this a few times with Sharp Azteca. He is a speed horse. He is a very fast horse that gets out there. Sometimes he does get hooked by these other horses, and then he becomes vulnerable for a Battle of Midway or something along those lines, a Practical Joke possibly. So I thought I would just back it up today. I didn't go as deep in the earlier races, so I thought I would go 6-8 here. Ray, I think, also went 6-8 here, and Joe just singled with a 6. Go ahead and save that, and I will go ahead and come on back, and we can go ahead and build our ticket together. Oh, I'm sorry. I was not presenting everyone there. All right.
Rich, you will have to put in our ticket tomorrow since I am in Sin City and they don't like TVG that much.
Oh, gosh.
Not allowed.
I don't even know if, to be honest, I don't even know if I could get it on my Wi-Fi on my laptop, to be honest with you. But
no, you can't. I tried that too.
I haven't tried, so I was just figuring I might as well mention it now.
I had someone who was convinced that that I'd be able to do that, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure Vegas figured that one out too.
While you're putting the ticket together, I'm going to open up a new tab and see if I can open TVG just for it.
You have to go to a corner deli 10 miles out, and you'll get the signal.
Yeah, 10 miles out. If I'm 10 miles out, there's no reason I need to be 10 miles out. I don't need to be buried in the desert. Okay, well, I do at least I can at least cite at least right now. Let me see if it actually. I haven't tried.
Oh, Rich, Joe's in
I'm
Vegas.
Just,
you know what that means, right? Kentucky Derby future bets.
Future wagers,
get that list. Get that list.
Hey, to be honest, I may actually put some money on that turf horse we watched last week. Analyze it. He last I saw earlier this week, he was 100-1.
Oh yeah.
Which horse was that you're talking about? That we saw last week?
Analyze it.
Analyze
it. The turf horse, Chad Brown's turf horse.
Yes, actually, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you ran well. Yeah.
That horse did have.
He ran really well. I just don't know whether he would run on dirt, but at 100-1, I might take that chance. Oddly enough, I actually got into TVG.
I don't think getting in is a problem.
Oh, I don't want to watch. Watching is not what I want. Because I guess I could watch. Well, I guess I could watch TVG, but why would I need to watch TVG when I can go downstairs and watch it in high definition on screens
HD with a
bigger
drink
than
in
my
your hand.
house?
With a drink in your hand, right?
Yeah, with a drink in my hand and the screen as big as my house.
Yeah.
Actually, they only show football on the screens that are as big as my house. They don't show TVG. Actually, they don't show TVG at all. But wow.
All right, there you go. Ray is in red. Those of you who are watching, Joe is in black. And you got Rich in blue. And at the end, we put our ticket together. Our final choices will be the green ones. So for our consensus here. So in that first race, I can see the 5. I can see the 12. Ray has also got the 4. And Joe, you've got the 10?
Yeah.
All right. Turn the screen. And in leg number 2, I see the 1 for sure. And 5, 7. Yeah, let's see. So the 1, let's see. Joe, you got your top pick is the 6. And my top pick is the 4. And I see the 3 on there too. Joe and I both have the 3. It's going to be Caveman again this week. Alrighty. Here we go. And in this is Remsen. And well, I definitely see the 3 on everybody's card there. I see the 5. I see the 4. Oops. Right. 3, 5, 4. Joe, you've got the 10.
The 7, your top pick, right?
7 and 3 is in there. Okay. And then in the finale, I think we just got the 6 and the 8. At least at this point in time.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it looks big to me.
Yeah.
That's $96, my friends.
Ooh.
4 times 4 is 16. 32 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah. We could go 48. We could go 48.
We could 48.
We could go 48 if I leave. Yeah, if I leave Practical Joke out.
Yeah.
I already did, so it's up to you guys. I'm fine with that.
Well, like that, it would be 48 instead of 96.
Yeah, like I said, I'm okay with leaving Practical Joke out. Like I said, I already had. So if you guys want to, you guys can make that choice.
Yeah, or we can leave them in and we can pair in the other races. We can pair down the.
Yeah, that's true. Like you said, I went deep in the Remsen. We could pair down. We could pair down by 1 or 2. Let's see. If we pair down by 1, that would make it an 80. If we went 6, 8, and we paired down by 1 in the Remsen, it would be an $80 ticket. So it'd be 16 for every one we take out. Well, I mean, we could go 4 by 4 by 4 by 2, and it'd be 64. But then we have to pair 2 out. You have to take 2 out. It's up to you guys on Practical Joke. Whatever you guys want to do is fine by me.
What do you think, Greg?
I'd rather go deep. I'd rather go deep and leave them out because it's pretty wide open races.
So you'd rather go deep and single Sharp Azteca?
Yeah.
Okay. So there we go.
And I also like my in leg 2, Indian Union. If you have a chance to add him.
Which one is? Let's see. That's the 1. No, the 5.
The 5.
5.
The 5.
That would make it a $60 ticket. 4 by 5. 4 by 5 by 6 by 1.
4, 5, 6.
Be 120. 4 by 5 by 6. I'm fine either way. considering the big balloons we scored at Del Mar on Sunday.
Yeah.
the grand $49.75 pick 4 that we hit on Sunday at Del Mar.
Mm-hmm.
Whee! I wouldn't even have paid for dinner. Actually, would have paid for dinner tonight, but that's
all right. So do we want to go? This is like a $60 wager on Sharp Azteca.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm okay with it either way.
Leave it this way. Okay.
But then again, you get a good, 12-1 horse. You'll pay good. So.
Well, if you get a 12-1 horse,
yeah.
There's also the possibility that you get 3 favorites and you can still hit and lose money.
Sure.
But I mean, there's always that. Hey, there's that chance.
That's a chance you take. Yeah.
I mean, again, these races came up pretty difficult. So,
they did.
And the funny part is, and the funny part is, and I'm gonna jinx us right out of this pick 4. I kind of feel we didn't go deep enough in leg 1. just a hunch on my part. I almost think we didn't go deep enough in leg 1, but
yeah.
Only because it's like I said, I could have really easily gone all in that spot if it was my own ticket. But I understand we have to put her down and because I mean it's funny because Rich, I'm surprised that you left out the Scat Daddy horse on the turf. I think with the 11
horse.
Scat back, yeah. Because I know how much you like Scat Daddies on the grass, but. Let's keep it as is. I don't want to influence anybody anymore.
Yeah, no, it was as you pointed out, it was one of those tough races. I was actually looking just for, as it turned out there, the ones that had experience and.
Yeah, it's not an easy sequence, and like I said,
all right,
the people at NY already peed me off by not putting the go for 1 in race 7, but that's another story for
yeah.
All right, so we've got 5, 12, 4, 10, and then 1, 5, 6, 4, 3, 3, 5, 4, 10, 2, 7, and Sharp Azteca is our closer. He's the 6th there in the finale.
I hope he's Kenley Jansen at least.
At this point in time, he better be. All right.
Yeah.
I'll come on back. We'll wrap this up.
Yeah, Carlos Stanton in at the dish. We're good.
All right.
Anyway.
For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, we will be back next week because, well, that's what the 3 broke guys do. We're going to get together to take a look at another exciting card. Not quite sure what that card's going to be just yet at this point in time, but if you keep your eye on our Twitter feed, we'll let you know. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It is always a pleasure to handicap with the 2 of you. For Joe English and Ray Torado.
Yes, always a pleasure.
Sorry, guys. For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching 3 Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.